On Sunday, the Patriots beat the Bengals 34-13 in Cincinnati. I was there. I was at Paul Brown Stadium. And for me, it was a cool moment because I got to see Tom Brady play live. He's a Hall of Famer. He's super accomplished. For me, it was kind of like seeing the Beatles live. You know, I'll always have the story when I tell my kids or my grandkids, yeah, that guy Tom Brady, I got to watch him play football live and in person with my own eyeballs. It'd be very exciting to me. And I have a few, two takeaways about the Patriots and then a few about Tom Brady from getting to see them live. Number one is that, the game was in Cincinnati, but man, it felt like a Patriots home game. Patriots fans were everywhere and they were loud. There was a moment where the Bengals dropped a punt, the Bengals fumbled, the Patriots grabbed it, they got the ball back, and man, that stadium went really loud. It felt like I was again at a Patriots home game. It was kind of bizarre, kind of weird and interesting. I felt bad for the Bengals, their players, Pretty much everybody there was a Patriots fan, and as an outside observer, I'm bipartisan. I was wearing a brown shirt. Like, I didn't have a favorite team in that situation. I was wearing like a Dickies pullover hoodie. It was just cold. And I didn't have a really a side in the fight. I just felt bad for the Bengals. I was like, man, this feels like an away game for you guys at home in your home city. That's brutal and that's rough. The other takeaway I have is that, it didn't feel like the Patriots dominated. They won the game 34-13. And, I could have expected that it wouldn't feel like a gigantic dominating game. People say that the Patriots are really boring. And then you just suddenly look up and go, oh, wow, they're leading by 30 points. What the heck? And it's totally true. That's exactly how I would describe a Patriots game, is it doesn't feel like they're winning by a lot. And then you look at the scoreboard and you go, oh, wow, this game feels like a close game. It's evenly matched physically. There's no gigantic plays for the Patriots. They had a fumble recovery. The Patriots had 4 interceptions, but somehow in spite of all that, it just didn't feel like a dominating performance by the Patriots. They just kind of lull you to sleep. And next thing you know, oh, they're up by 30 points. Just very interesting to me. Now, Tom Brady, the Patriots quarterback. You see videos of him on the sidelines yelling and screaming, but to me, that's not Tom Brady for 95% of the game. 95% of the game, Tom Brady is pretty mundane, very even keel, relaxed. He doesn't go too high or too low. He's just kind of measured the entire game. A measured and even keel is exactly how I would describe Tom Brady typically during a football game if you just watch him the entire game on the sideline. Now, Tom Brady does about 3 things. Every once in a while he does a 4th, but there are 3 things Tom Brady does, and that's about it during an NFL game. He has a very solid rhythm. He actually spends the majority of the time on an iPad with the Patriots offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. I guess technically it's a Microsoft Surface, because that's the thing they have contract with. But he spends most of the game making adjustments with his offensive coordinator. That's about it. Tom Brady literally just sits on the bench staring at a screen for most of the game. Now, when his defense gets on a 3rd down, he'll stand up. He'll find Jarrett Stidham, the backup quarterback. They start to play catch. And you'll notice that Brady throws really, really hard while his backup Jarrett Stidham does not. And that's by design. It's important. You might be, if you're just an observer, you'd be like, what's wrong with Jarrett Stidham? Why is Jarrett Stidham throwing the ball so soft? It looks like he has a lot of arc on the ball. Like, does he have a weak arm? What's going on? And there's a couple reasons behind all of this. Number one, the reason why Tom Brady throws the ball really hard is because he's trying to build muscle memory and build confidence. Before you go out on the field, you want to make sure that everything is firing at all cylinders and you can go full speed and trust your arm. Now, the other reason why Jarrett Stidham is not throwing hard is to protect Tom Brady's hands. I mean, it's the weird, interesting truth that Tom Brady's got to warm up and get himself ready, but you're not trying to warm up Jarrett Stidham. He's just trying to get the ball back into Tom Brady's hands. And so they throw the ball soft back to Tom Brady because you don't want Tom Brady to have a jammed finger or something go wrong catching a football from another quarterback. It is really cool watching Tom Brady and Jarrett Stidham, the backup, the young rookie and the long-time 20-year NFL veteran. That they appear to get along really well, Jarrett Stidham and Tom Brady. They're talking to each other. Brady has his hand on Jarrett Stidham's shoulder a lot of the time. It kind of looks honestly like, people would say uncle and son, but that's not really what it is. It's more like older brother and younger brother, the way Brady talks to and relates to him. It's very You can tell it's kind and they have a good relationship. Now, the three things Brady does: iPad, he's looking at the iPod, making adjustments, he's warming up, and then number three, he's on the field playing quarterback. And that's a solid rhythm. He occasionally after a drive, he does do a fourth thing, especially after a drive fails. They have an incomplete pass, or they have to punt it away, or they fail on fourth down. Brady will go talk to his receivers and make an adjustment with them. And I saw him yell at a couple guys occasionally, but for the most part, Tom Brady just really is talking to them, making adjustments, making clear that things are working. And it's just very systematic. There's just a clear rhythm with Tom Brady and with the Patriots. They don't fall from that formula very often. It's kind of fun to watch. It really is. Now, if you ever go see Tom Brady, please do not expect him to be wild or flashy. That's not who he is. I would imagine people that don't really know football very well, but they've only ever heard about the legend of Tom Brady. For people who've only heard of the legend of how great Tom Brady is, but they don't know football very well and don't follow very closely, those people might be disappointed because Tom Brady, his style is boring. And I expected that, but there's no better way to put it other than his style of quarterback is boring. There's not crazy plays. He's not flashy. There's no wild big runs. There's no crazy passes. Tom Brady just plays a very boring, efficient style of quarterback. That's exactly what I expected. But in case anybody out there is expecting to go watch Tom Brady for the first time, don't expect a wild, crazy performance. That's just the wrong expectation to have. A lot of throws underneath. I would call it a Tom Brady playing quarterback is kind of a slow burn. And I'll be totally honest, I saw a couple throws that Tom Brady missed. He had a throw on the goal line down the seam to the left where that looked like it should have been a touchdown, and he missed. But I don't think the reason why Tom Brady's missing passes in this moment in his career is because of age. I've now seen him on film. I've seen him in person, literally watched him live. I think people just regularly are characterizing his flaws and his issues with the wrong thing. It's not his age. People don't understand. You can throw a football forever. You can literally throw a football until Joe Montana is 63 years old, can still throw a football incredibly well. You watch Boomer Esiason, not Boomer Esiason, what's his name? Phil Simms. Phil Simms, the former Giants quarterback, played in like the 80s or not. I can't remember when he played, 70s, 80s, 90s, a long time ago. He's an old man. He throws the ball incredibly well. Because guess what? Your arm strength doesn't just go away. Your arm just doesn't fall off and you suddenly can't throw the ball. As your body gets older, the reason why quarterbacks have a harder time staying in the league is because they can't stay healthy. Their knees, their joints, they can't take hits anymore. It's very rare that when a quarterback gets old, their arm falls off a cliff. It's not what happens. When a quarterback gets old, their knees, their joints, their footwork, all of that falls apart, and it becomes harder for them to take hits. But you look at all these old quarterbacks, they can still sling the rock, and it's the same with Tom Brady. Especially after seeing him live, I think a lot of his inaccuracy this year is not because of his age, but because of his lack of trust and his cohesion with his receivers. His receivers and him are just not often on the same page. Timing is off. And he's got new guys like Mohamed Sanu who've only been there a couple weeks, and they're still not quite up to speed yet. They're a foot off, or in-breaking route should have been an out-breaking route. There's little things that they're not fully in sync yet. And I think, man, I'm just telling you, the whole Tom Brady decline, it's overblown. I've now seen him on film, in person. People don't understand the reason why Tom Brady's throwing incomplete passes is not because he's old. It's not like his arm suddenly doesn't work. He's accurate. He can throw the ball well. The reason why he's off is because he's got receivers that him and his receivers they're not jiving. There's something, they're not on the same page regularly. I just think people are in such a hurry to blame age, and they don't really understand how the quarterback position works. I played quarterback in college. I will be able to throw a football until I'm 50 years old. Well, people look at Phil Simms, look at, what's his name, the quarterback I mentioned earlier, Joe Montana. He's 63 years old. You can still throw a ball into your old age. It's not the ability to throw. The way Tom Brady's age would be affecting him is with his ability to take a hit, which he rarely does. His inaccuracies, his incompletions are not coming because of his age. Tom Brady's incompletions are coming because of his lack of cohesion with his wide receivers and with his tight ends. They're just not on the same page. There's something off, but it's not Tom Brady's age. I'm more convicted of that now. after watching him play live.